because it's important that we don't lose time. South Africa has got many challenges, and all parties must understand that we must put South African first. And that means we have to work together. We must focus on what needs to be done. The statement of intent of the GNU says we must focus on building an inclusive economy and creating jobs. We must deal with high costs of living and ensure we build a capable and developmental state. We must focus on those things. Fight crime and corruption. Make South Africa work. And that's what we'll be discussing this morning.
Have you had any conversations with the EFF, and are they willing to join the Government of National Unity?
When we were discussing the budget in Parliament, we called the EFF to persuade them to vote for the budget, but they didn't agree. That was the last time we met them. As you know, they voted against the budget. We're trying to engage different parties. I also talked to MK people. They also said no, they are not supporting. So we're engaging everybody.
And just finally from my end, the leader of the Democratic Alliance, John Steenhuisen, says that they don't want to leave the GNU. How could they rectify the situation if they want to continue participating in the GNU?
They must vote for the budget.
The budget has been passed.
They must come and support it. Remember, we are not done. We're just voting for the fiscal framework. The appropriation bill is coming. Well, there are a lot of money bills that are lined up coming. So now that they've not voted for the fiscal framework, it set the tone of what they will do with the appropriation bill, division of revenue bill. Those things are still coming. We will work with those who go all the way with us. We need the budget to get South Africa working.
DP, it's Heidi Jacobs from ENCA. Basically what Quaint has asked you in terms of who else are you looking at speaking to, because the DA seems hell-bent on not accepting this budget because of other issues they want addressed. The ANC is not backing down when it comes to Bella and expropriation. So what is your way forward, and have you engaged at all with the DA? You're meeting today as top 7 at 10 o'clock, but have you at all engaged with the DA moving forward when it comes to the GNU?
We have not engaged with the DA as yet because we are waiting for this meeting at 10 o'clock. The meeting at 10 o'clock.
Apologies there, we seem to have lost our connection to Paul Mashatile speaking at the Ahmed Kathrada Foundation Legacy Breakfast. I'm told that's been re-established. Let's continue listening in.
At stage, we agreed that let's retreat, let's have a meeting of the national officials, the NWC. We might even need a meeting of the NEC itself. Then those engagements will indicate where to. So if the NWC say, well, go and speak to this or that party, we will do that.
Okay, DP, you've been proven in the budgets this past week, the votes, that you actually don't need the DA because you were able to pass the budget without the DA. So maybe this is the question. Do you still want the DA in the GNU? Do you think you still need the DA in the GNU?
Well, let me not single them out. Remember, there's a government of national unity. We wanted everybody in the government of national unity to go with us. That's why the president said to the DA, if you don't vote with us, it means you are defining yourself outside. Not that we don't need you. So the ball is in their court.
Okay, last question from me. You are heading up business. The president has assigned you to basically head up business.
Lead of government business, yes.
Lead of government business, that's the correct term. And we are dealing with a lot at the moment. Business has written to the president with regards to the DA and the ANC sorting out its issues. You have issues when it comes to the US and the threats of the possibility of AGOA not being anymore. How concerned are you when it comes to what's currently going on and the fact that you're at a talk today regarding social cohesion and the economy needing to work for everybody, but there are issues?
No, indeed, there are issues. We are very concerned. Remember, the issues of Trump have nothing to do with our budget. President Trump has already hit us with tariffs, whether we have a budget or not. But we are concerned about that because it makes South African exports to the U.S. more expensive for the U.S. people, but it affects the profitability of our companies. We have companies like BMW, Ford, who are exporting to the U.S. We have farmers who are exporting to the U.S. So we are very concerned about these issues. In fact, my worry is that trade wars and tariff could plunge the global economy into a recession. That's my worry, because others are retaliating and so on. We took a different approach, that let's go and engage the U.S. administration, the new administration, and see maybe we will find one another. But here at home, we will continue to engage parties. When the NWC finish this meeting, they'll tell us what to do. We will go back to government. As a leader of government business, my responsibility is to ensure that government programs are implemented by Parliament, particularly legislation. And this includes money bills as well. It is my concern if money bills don't get through. In fact, the budget is the one that if you don't pass the budget, that's the end of the government. That's how government works. So it's important that we must have the budget.
When will you be going to the US?
Well, that's the president will decide because he's the one sending the delegation. But you know, the US is busy with a lot of things. We wanted to give them time to sort themselves out, so that everybody has been rushing there. So we are taking our time. At the right time, the president will send the delegation.
This guy SABC.
Okay. All right. Yep. Thank you. Yes, Nosipho Khatebe from SABC News. Thank you so much, Deputy President. Just on economic growth, given that we're expecting a slowdown in global growth, how confident are you then of our own economic growth and reaching the targets that we've set out?
We think that we can drive growth through infrastructure investments. So the Minister of Finance in this budget is putting about 940 billion rand already for infrastructure investments. We will be sorting out our ports. We will be sorting out Transnet, freight rail, to ensure that we can take goods to the ports. You know that our ports were clogged, so we're going to ensure that we fix that. We now have a water task team that I'm chairing that is looking at the issue of water. Most of our dams are currently full, but we have a problem of reticulation in the cities because of old infrastructure. So we've taken a decision that we must have more resources to help municipalities fix the infrastructure so that we don't get into a crisis of water. We believe that by investing more in infrastructure, supporting network industries, we'll be able to drive growth. At the moment, we're projecting 3% economic growth over the MTF, which is very good because it will then give us enough revenue to implement our medium-term development plan without necessarily having to raise taxes. That's what our commitment is. Even the 0.5% is really crossing the bridge this year, because a lot of the plans that we are going to implement to drive growth will not bear fruit this year. So the 13 billion rand that the Minister of Finance needs is really to cross the bridge in this financial year, so that next year, once we have positive growth, the Minister is saying 1.9 going forward, but in the next 3 years we want to reach 3% growth. Obviously, with growth projections, you always get affected by the global economy. So we will watch that situation, how it may affect our plans here. Obviously, depending on the trade wars, the global economy might take a knock, but we are putting a lot of resources. We already have plans through Operation Vulindlela that we are speeding up to implement. And so we are very positive that we will drive growth to high levels because we need it. Otherwise, if we don't get the economy to grow, it forces government to now seek revenues through borrowing, through taxes, which we want to avoid. Thank you.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
All right, so there you have it. Deputy President Paul Mashatile speaking there on the sidelines of the Ahmed Kathrada Foundation Legacy Breakfast. It's meant to be a gathering to foster communication or engagements amongst captains of industry, but as expected, a lot of the question and answer session being dominated by the domestic affairs insofar as directions within the government of national unity are concerned. Paul Mashatile making a number of what I think are interesting statements, including that if the DA wants to fix the relationship they have with the ANC, they must just go ahead and vote in favor of the money bills which are related to the budget in the next couple of days. You might remember what we saw in Parliament last week was just the passing of the fiscal framework. There are several other steps that still need to be taken, and Paul Mashatile suggesting there that they could mend ties by just backing what is already on the table. Another important statement, of course, is around the 0.2% of percentage point increase in VAT. He suggested that what the plan might be is actually to just allow this increase for the first year and then drop it in the second year if we have, in fact, the kind of economic growth that they're hoping for, which, by the way, seems to corroborate reports already from the front page of the Sunday Times, for example, suggesting that a compromise on the table between the ANC and the DA is to allow for the 0.5 percentage point increase in VAT for year one and then drop it for year two. I wonder to what extent, of course, that ultimately will pass. But what is important is that this is all happening against the backdrop of a crucial NWC meeting, which is going to be chaired by Paul Mashatile starting from around 10 o'clock. So whatever they decide there will ultimately chart the way forward. We're watching that very closely for you.